Shavouot a little bit, which the holiday starts tomorrow night. Also, I want to say that for people that have a problem falling asleep at nights and you want to stay up Shavouot by night, from 11:45 in this side of town, I mean this shul, there's going to be different lecturers from 11:45 every 45 minutes. Somebody else speaks until 4:10, and then at 4:10 you could do shachrit. There's going to be sushi too. If you give me a list of foods that you like, I'm talking about more snacking, not really eating the whole meal, because we're going to have a full meal in the morning. We're going to have a cheesecake and everything.
Don't you fast during the holiday? What
No.
time?
Oh, come inside, please. Don't be too religious. We are all safe people, I promise you. We have nothing bad in mind.
My friends have been asking me actually.
Okay, so what happens is, so at 4:10, if you're staying up the whole night, there's going to be a minyan, and then there's going to be a cheesecake. But we don't fast on the holiday. The thing is, if just tell me tonight, we have sushi, we're going to have some ice cream, maybe I'll get some chips and whatever, salsa and stuff. But if there's anything in particular that you like, let me know, and I try to get it. But anyways, let's talk about the holiday of Shavuot. We're going to discuss about the custom that Shavuot by night, basically all Jews stay up the entire night. And they study, they learn. Now really the Zohar talks about it. The Zohar says that the early pious people used to stay up the whole night and study. But nobody really kept it until up to close to 500 years ago. There was a man who wrote the book of Halacha, Shulchan Aruch. His name was Rabbi Yosef Karo. At that time, I think he lived in Turkey. He didn't move to Israel yet. So then he decided to do what the Zohar says. Let's stay up the entire night. They stay up the entire night. And then when it comes the morning, so they see an angel of God that actually comes to them. And he says, you guys reached a very high level. But if you would have had a minion to stay up, you would have reached even higher. And because you didn't have a minion, you didn't reach the highest level. So they were like so sad. And when the friends woke up in the morning and they went to the mikvah, so they told them what happened. We saw the angel telling us we should have had a minyan to study Torah. So they made it up. They stayed up the next night, second night of Shavuot. They stayed up the whole night. So the Beit Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, writes this story. And the Zohar is the source that they stayed up the whole night. So since then actually became the custom to stay up. Without an exception. Sephardic, Ashkenazi, Hasidic, non-Hasidic, they stop the entire night of Shavuot, and we prepare to hear the Ten Commandments. So let's go through it really. What's the reason that we stay up? What is the reason that we stay up Shavuot by night? That's what we're going to discuss. So we're going to discuss only one of the opinions. There are many opinions why we stay up Shavuot by night. Opinion number one is when God came to give us the Ten Commandments, Shavuot in the morning, all the Jews were sleeping. The Jews were sleeping. And the Medrash says very funny words. Why did the Jews go to sleep the night before Shavuot? So it says because the sleep of night of Shavuot is very pleasant. Simply, the commentators say because the weather is so good around Israel and the countries surrounding Israel around Shavuot time, which is what, May or June? Probably June. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. The sleeping is very enjoyable. Then the Medrash says the night is very short. And the Medrash says to such an extent that even the mosquitoes didn't bite them. So God comes in the morning, all the Jews are sleeping, gets upset. There is a verse, there's the pasuk in Yeshaya that Hashem says, Madua bati ve'enish. Why when I came there was no person to accept me? Karati, I called vein only, nobody answered. What is God complaining about? So the Medrash says that was the day that God gave us the Ten Commandments, nobody was up. You guys don't know the pasuk, right? The verse that it says there was lightning, there was thunder. Why did God make lightning and thunder? So according to this Medrash, God did it to wake them up. So it looks like God wanted them to stay up, but they went to sleep. God was upset. So it's our job to fix it. Every year, Shavuot by night, we stay up and we study Torah to fix the mistake that our fathers made many, many years ago. That's what it looks like, right? So now everything in the Torah has a lesson for us. It's not just a history book. Actually, why is the Torah called Torah? I mean, simply, Torah means law, because there's a bunch of laws in there. But really, Torah comes from the word of Horah. Horah means a lesson. The reason why God made the name Torah to tell us that it's not just a book that you study and you enjoy. We have to take a lesson for our life. What lesson do we learn from all the details here? See, the Medrash doesn't just say they went to bed, so then God had to wake them up. If that's what the Medrash would have said, then I would have learned, yeah, our job is to stay up. That's what the story said. But the Medrash says details. The night is very short. The sleep is very pleasurable. Even the mosquitoes didn't bite them. These little things must have a lesson. We have to know exactly what is the Torah teaching us. Let's make the question bigger, guys. We're gonna, when you never answer a question with an answer. You always answer a question with a question. They one time asked the Jew, why do you answer a question with a question? I'm sure you guys know what he answered. He said, why not? Why shouldn't you answer it with a question? But we always do opposite. When you say Shalom Aleichem, what do I answer you back? Aleichem Shalom. I don't say Shalom Aleichem. I say the opposite. I don't know why, but that's the way Jews are. Nothing normal about us. Baruch Hashem. We're above nature, abnormal, in a good way. Anyway, so there's actually another question. How could the Jews go to sleep? Let's go through, make the question a bit clearer. You see, why do we count, the nights, right, close to 50 days? Why do we count before Shavouot? So there's a Medrash that Rabbeinu Nissim brings down. When the Jews left Egypt, so Moshe Rabbeinu told them, around 50 days, you're going to receive the Torah. The Jews were so excited that they started counting. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. And that's what we counted today too. We count these days, we're showing our excitement for the reading of the Ten Commandments. Clear, people? So now, could you guys imagine 49 days before, when they left Egypt, right? That's such a great excitement for the receiving of the Ten Commandments. Could you guys imagine the night before how much excitement they had? Again, in 49 days, imagine you're going to become a millionaire. I'm going to tell you, you'll be a millionaire in 50 days. And you're so excited you can't rest. So 3-4 hours before you get your million, you're not going to go to sleep. You're going to stay up. So the Jews had such great excitement to receive the Torah 49 days before. And then the night of Shavouot, a couple hours before they go to sleep. How could they lose their excitement and forget about the Torah? The question is even bigger, people. Why do we count number 49? Really, why 49? Why not 52? Why not 26? So here Kabbalah explains that the reason is because when the Jews were in Egypt, they were in the 49 levels of impurity. There is 50 levels of impurity. If the Jews would have fallen in number 50, no hope for them, no way to go back. So God took them out before they fell into level number 50. He took them out of Egypt. They were in level 0, ground 0. That's it. Every day when they counted, 1 day passed, 2 days passed, it wasn't just counting. They actually worked on themselves and they reached one level of understanding in the Torah. So when there was 0 level, they just came out of impurity. That's such great desire for accepting of the Torah. Correct? So now imagine they count 49 days, they reach the 49th level of understanding, and that's the highest the person can reach. Level number 50, God gives us as a gift, if He ever deserved it. But we could only reach 49 levels of understanding. And the Jews reached it. So if you have more of understanding of the greatness of the Torah, obviously your excitement to receive the Torah 49 days later is a lot more. So how could they go to sleep the night before? It doesn't really make sense. So because of these questions, the Lubavitch Rebbe answers that their sleeping wasn't that they forgot about the receiving of the Torah. They thought this is the best preparation for for receiving the Ten Commandments. It's not that they forgot it. They thought it's better to go to bed. It's better to go to sleep. That's the best preparation to receive the Torah. And he actually proves it too. If their sleeping was something totally unholy, why did God make a miracle that the mosquitoes didn't bite them? If they're doing something wrong, the opposite. The mosquitoes should bite them. So go inside their ears, make noise. So they can't sleep and they're going to stay up. From the fact that even the mosquitoes didn't bite them, it shows that their sleeping was something very spiritual. So now we're going to learn what's the secret of sleeping. But never oversleep, please, guys. How much sleep do we need to be healthy? Maximum 8. 6 to 8 hours. Now the doctors need up to 9 hours. If you don't sleep over 11 hours, you're not in danger. If you sleep more than 11 hours, there's a problem. I heard it from a doctor one time. No, because there was this person that had to take medication. to sleep, and the medication used to knock him out. So he would sleep like 10 hours. Actually, don't worry about it. As long as you don't sleep 11 hours or more, there's no problem. But usually between 6 and 8. But I'm giving you an advice. Please sleep now, because once you become a father or you become a mom, sleeping is luxury. You can't sleep anymore because you have to take care of your kids. And women, especially after you get married, you can't sleep because 90% of the men snore when they go to sleep. It's going to wake you up. Correct? Especially if they're Persian, because they have deviation in their nose. Our noses are crooked. They're not made straight for some reason. That's what we do. Yeah. But I'm scared to do it, so I leave it the way it is. I'm okay with snoring as long as I don't wake up middle of the night. So, anyways, going a little bit further, what's the secret of sleeping? So, you see, what happens is, guys, as much as holy as we are, as holy as righteous people are, before the soul came down into a physical body, it was very connected and attached to God. The moment the soul comes into a body, the body limits it. But the soul doesn't need to sleep and it's up there. So 24/7 is understanding, attaching himself to God. When we come to a physical body, first of all, there are times that we got to go to bed, we got to eat, we got to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you're not that much connected. Besides that, because the body is so limited, even the greatest righteous person, even a person like Moses, when he came to the physical body, his attachment to God became a little bit weaker. And we can prove it from the Torah. When Moshe saw God, he says, please show me your face, whatever that means. He says, Har'eni na et kvodecha, show me your honor, show me your face. What did God answer him? Nobody alive can see me. That means a person has to pass away. The soul has to go out of the body to be able to understand and be connected to the deeper levels of godliness. Now, we're talking about Moses, not us. So we see that when we come into a physical body, our awareness and our appreciation of God becomes weaker. What happens when we go to bed? Then the neshama leaves the body, doesn't have the limitation. It could actually reach levels that we cannot reach within our body. There were a lot of great rabbis that when they used to study the Torah, they were left with many questions. They couldn't find the answer. So they went to bed. When they woke up the next morning, they found out the answer. Now, why did they have to sleep on it to get the answer? Why couldn't they stay up and get the answer? So our books explain, because when they were up, they have a limited mind. When they go to sleep, the neshama leaves the limitation of the body, it gets recharged and it gets connected to higher sources. So while I'm sleeping and the soul is above, he gets an understanding of the part of the Torah that he couldn't understand when he was up. So when he wakes up, he's already in this conscious of the soul, he finds the answer. So you see, actually sleeping is not just we go to bed because we're tired. A Jewish person, sleep, it's a holy thing. You go to sleep because you want to get reconnected to God, to get energy, please guys, to get energy so you're able to serve God the next day. Like, cars that work with batteries, electrical cars, after 3-4 hours or 2 hours of drive, it gets drained. You got to put it back to electricity to be able to drive again. Or if it's a gas car, you got to put new gas to go. So whatever, we have to get recharged every night. It's not a waste of time. You go to bed, you get recharged, and then you could serve God. Later, the next day, righteous people actually reach the highest levels while they sleep, and they get answers to the questions. Anybody heard of the Arizal, the master of Kabbalah? He used to sleep 2 hours on Shabbat, and his lips were moving. So one of his students heard him speaking. So he puts his ears next to his mouth. He doesn't understand. And then he wakes him up. He says, what were you saying? So the Arizal tells him, what I was grasping during my sleep for 2 hours on Shabbat, if I want to write it down, it takes 80 years to write it. Now again, Arizal was a very holy man. His sleep was to actually reach heights that he couldn't reach during the day. That's the way the Arizal was. So now you understand why the Jews went to sleep. The Jews went to sleep the night before Shavouot because they said if you go to bed, so then our soul will leave the limitation of our body. It's going to reach the highest levels, especially after 49 days of working on themselves. Right? Every day they revealed another new new revelation of the gates of wisdom. So they reach the highest level that somebody can get. If you're going to stay up and study or really contemplate on God, you're going to be limited. If you go to bed, we reach even higher levels. So they decided to go to sleep is a lot better. And this is actually in the words of the Medrash. What did the Medrash say? Why did the Jews go to sleep? It says because the sleep of Shavouot is very sweet. Remember we said that simple commentators explain because the weather is so good, you don't sweat too much because it's not too hot. It's not too cold, you don't freeze. So the sleeping was very, very pleasant. But actually, and the night was short. So then the Kabbalistic books explain when we said the night is short, it means the darkness of the world is very short for them. Was only a little bit darkness left. And therefore their sleep was sweet. What do you mean the sleep was sweet? Spiritually was sweet. Because they could understand much higher levels. And that's why the mosquitoes didn't bite them, because when you reach to a certain high level, you become a very godly person, the animals cannot hurt you. Anybody knows one story? Somebody was thrown in the lion's den, and the lions were hungry for 3, 4 days, but they became like, domesticated dogs, that they just licked his foot. They didn't attack him. Who's the story with? No, Shimshon was not thrown into the lion's den. He didn't, he had so much power that boom, we just said he was ripped them apart. He was Shimshon. You guys, Daniel, who said Daniel? Awesome.
His name is Daniel too.
You're named after him. You see, Daniel was one of our prophets. He used to pray to God 3 times a day. He was by Darius, Daryavesh or Darius, king of Persia. And all the other advisors hated him because he was the top advisor of the Persian king. So they decided to make a rule that it could kill him. So they told Darius, you conquered the entire world, you're a real God. Everybody should pray to you. And he said, oh yeah, why not? In the olden days, they were idol worshippers. So Daniel had no idea about this. Daniel was praying to God while he was in the middle of prayer to God. So what happens is they catch him. And they mean to Darius, look, he went against your rule, he's praying to a different God. They threw him into a lion's den. And the lions didn't attack him. Why? He was such a holy person that the lions could not attack him. Actually, Kabbalistic books explains it's in the Torah too. You see, every one of us has an image of God on our forehead. But that's revealed as long as we don't sin. When we sin, that image of God gets covered up. It's still there, but it's covered up. So when the animal looks at us, does not see the image of God. That's why they're able to attack a human being. But if a person is a righteous person and the godliness shines on his forehead, the animal is afraid to attack. That's why Daniel had such name, such power. Also, we find 400 years ago, there was a man who was a big Kabbalist, Rab Chaim ben Attar. He lived in Israel and Turkey, actually. Rab Chaim ben Attar, or you might know him in the name of Or HaChaim. He was a very big man. So he had to make some jewelry for the king of Turkey, for the Ottomans, and he wasn't able to make it at the end. They threw him into a lion's pit, and he comes out alive. Nothing happens to him. So that's why the Jews went to sleep, he said, because they wanted to reach much higher levels. And the fact that the mosquitoes didn't bite them was not a miracle. They just couldn't attack them because they were holy. So why was God so upset? They had such holy reasons to go to bed the night before Shavouot. God is never happy. What's wrong with it? He's like a Persian father. You're never good enough. I'm serious. What's going on? Maybe our fathers learn from him. He's never happy. You do this, I'm not happy. You have to do more. I'm just kidding. God forbid. God is very nice. He is. I'm very proud to have this God as our God. And he should be proud to have us as his children. I hope so. So what was God very upset? So see what happens is that this is one thing you're going to learn. You're going to see your power. How much power you guys have. Anybody knows that our parents, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, Yaakov, they kept the whole Torah before it was given. Because God taught it to them. So when really God gave us the 10 Commandments, it was nothing new. Abraham kept it. When the guests come, what did Abraham make for them? Besides the calf. He tells Sarah, make what? It says, make matzot. It says, make good matzot. Why do you give matzot to your people? What do you like to eat more, matzot or bread? Of course, bread is softer. What's matzot? It gives you a stomach ache, especially after 40 years old. They can't digest it. And actually, they give matzah to people so they don't become hungry so fast. Because it just stays in your stomach forever. I don't know. You get, the last day of Pesach, you read the Haftorah on Shabbat about, the last day, about the Mashiach will come, and on the Shabbat you read about the resurrection of the dead. So the joke is because matzah and the wine that you drink so much, it's a miracle that you're alive after Pesach. Such heavy food. So if you stay alive after Pesach, you definitely start believing in the resurrection. But again, you don't eat matzah as regular thing. So the Gemara says because it was Passover, and Avram kept matzah. He ate matzah during Pesach. So what was so new about the Torah that God made such lightening? Like it was something new. It was nothing new. So the answer that they give is your mitzvot, our mitzvot, after the Torah was given, is totally a different level than what Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov kept. You see, guys, there's a policy. There was a policy that spirituality cannot permeate the physical world. There are two opposites. I can't take my logic and put it in a cup because you can't. You could put water in a cup because they're both physical. Something spiritual cannot go into something physical. So therefore, before the Torah was given, there was no way that it could bring spirituality and it should permeate this physical world. Whatever Abraham did, it only revealed more godliness in the spiritual world, nothing in this physical world. Maybe he made his soul more spiritual, but the physical world stayed the physical world. What the Medrash says brings a very funny example, but you see, you guys are very smart. You go to the depth of it. It says there was one time the Romi, couldn't go to Syria, which is Syria. And Syria, the Syrians couldn't go to Rome. So then God says, you know what? Boom, I'm going to destroy the barrier. The Romans can go to Syria, Syria could go to Rome. Very, very funny example, right? No more Syrians, no more Romans. What's the Medrash talking about? So Kabbalah says Romi means above. Ram means very high. It's actually resembling godliness. Surya means something removed. Sar means removed. So it shows on the physical world which was removed from spirituality. Before the Torah was given, godliness, which is Ram, high, couldn't come into the physical world. And people couldn't get spiritual, godly. I couldn't make something physical into something godly. When God gave us the Torah, it says no more barriers. He came on Mount Sinai and he gave us the power. Every mitzvah that we do, godliness permeates that physical thing. When you put on tefillin on your hands, this hand, after putting on tefillin, is not the same hand that never put on tefillin. When you have these Jewish girls use their fingers to light Shabbat candles, it's not the same finger like before they lit Shabbat candles. Let's make it simpler. When you buy a house, you rent a house, you put a mezuzah on the door of your house, the walls of your house become godly. The house simply changes. When you make a synagogue, you pray in there, the synagogue is a godly place. That's why even after the destruction of a temple, God forbid, the grounds of a synagogue are still holy. Well, if godliness doesn't penetrate through the physical world, it's just a regular house. Okay, when it was built, you prayed. When it's not built, don't pray. Why do you have to still have respect for it? So because after the Torah was given, our mitzvot are so powerful that we could actually bring God and it penetrates, permeates through the world. What happens if a Sefer Torah, God forbid, falls on the floor? What are we supposed to do? You're supposed to fast at least one day. I don't know, 4 days, at least one day. People that dropped it or people that saw it. Because the Sefer Torah is not just a parchment. It's not like a science book that you have a paper and you write on it some words. Actually, the words of Torah, because when you make the parchment, you actually make it with the intention for the holiness of Sefer Torah. The parchment becomes something holy. When you write the Torah, that actually becomes a holy thing. Your bodies are holy, my friend, because you did mitzvah with them. And the kedusha, the holiness of the mitzvah, permeates your body. That's what happened by Matan Torah, you understand? But when Abraham did a mitzvah, nothing happened to him. Maybe his soul got holier a little bit, but his physical body didn't become holier. The physical world didn't become holier. So the mitzvot after Matan Torah, they're completely new level. Could you believe that? You buy a house, you put a mezuzah, godly place. And Jews are excellent at that. You know, you look at the Romans, what do they have to show off in their history? The Colosseum that used to kill people with animals? Seriously, what did I have to show?
Pasta.
Pasta, okay. All right. So I'm just saying, no, pasta is not something in the past. I'm saying, what did I have?
It's all physical stuff.
It's all physical stuff. You look at Jews, honestly, go back thousands of years. We don't have houses of torture like that built in Iran, you know? We don't have that. You have synagogues, you have yeshivas, hospitals that they made. Honestly, our job was always to bring godliness in the world. I'm not kidding. You go to Israel, you have like these huge synagogues in Rome, huge synagogues in Italy, whatever they found, they're still there. In Prague, you have this famous synagogue of the Maharal. Really, our history is only godly things. That's what a Jew is. We permeate godliness in the world. That's why God was upset at the Jews when they went to sleep. Because when, as a preparation for receiving of the Torah, you have to make your body a holy thing. You have to make the physical world something holy. When they went to bed, they abandoned their body and the soul went closer to God. But the body didn't get elevated. So God wanted them to stay up. That was their mistake. They should have stayed up and make the body holy by studying Torah, not by going to sleep. That's why we stay up every year on Shavouot. Even though it's difficult, we push our eyes to stay up. If it gets difficult to stay up, eat something, make a bracha on the food, you elevate the food because your bodies are holy. I'm telling you, your body is not like somebody else's body. It's not like the body of the other nations. They're good people too. You understand that? This arm that puts on tefillin is something else. Please take it in a very mature way. Even the lowest and the most animalistic part of our body. I'm talking about the private parts. God says on the 8th day you do circumcision. And it says this is the sign that you connected to me. I mean, it doesn't make sense. The lowest part of the body gets connected to God because you did circumcision. That's what the Torah says. That's when it comes to marriages, you got to be very, very careful too. You got to marry only a Jewish person because every part of your body is very holy. Even the part which is the most, unholy seemingly. By doing that mitzvah, you have elevated the lowest. I don't want to say bad words, I want to use clean words. The most animalistic part of our body is connected to God too. So that's a lesson that we learn from Shavouot, people. The physical world is a beautiful place. There's a lot of godliness in there. It's called actually the garden of God. And we are all gardeners of God, you know what I'm saying? Spiritual gardeners. By doing a mitzvah, you actually make this garden of God very beautiful. Isn't this total belief of, Christianity? Seriously, they don't get married because the world is cursed. The holiest of them has to be separated from getting married. We say, no, this world is a beautiful place as long as you reveal the godliness or you permeate the godliness in this world. Awesome. Clear, people?
Very clear.
Awesome, thank God. So I think I did say a story of Avram ben Avram last week. Let me just actually, guys, make a couple of announcements. Number one, next week, if you guys can show up, we'd really appreciate it. I don't know if you know Dylan Rashtizadeh. Some of you guys know him. So his mother is very involved with Israel, with Israeli soldiers. She's bringing 6 of the soldiers that are injured after October 7th during the war. They're bringing 4 men and two women, 4 boys and 2 girls. So she's actually renting out or whatever, reserving the tent which is outside of a Tel Aviv restaurant. And actually, she wants everybody to go there to encourage the soldiers and actually thank them for, protecting us. They're not only protecting Israel, because God was so kind that, through our soldiers, we got back land of Israel. The world is scared to attack Jews all around the world. It's definitely a tool, a holy land that God gave us. Those soldiers are not only protecting people living in Israel, they're protecting us too. And actually, I don't know if everybody agrees with this, but they're like Yitzchak of our generation. What's the greatness of Yitzchak, son of Abraham? That he was ready to put his neck to be slaughtered, for the sake of God. Now, what do these young soldiers do? They even didn't start living yet. We have the luxury in America, right? That when you're 20 years old, you play Nintendo. We sleep. Those poor guys, honestly, they were in the war. Some of them, they said during the war, they don't even take off their boots because any second, something might happen. They have to be ready to attack or to run away. They have no time to put on their boots. Did you ever go to sleep without shoes? Not normal, right? We have so many luxuries our brothers and sisters don't have in Israel, and they put actually their life in danger. They're like going to sacrifice themselves. They're ready to be sacrificed. So in a certain aspect, they're actually as holy as Yitzchak Avinu, our father. So, and again, honestly, I've seen a few of them. The traumas that they have, I really don't think that is completely fixable. Again, you know more than I do. This therapy stuff, right? But I did see one of the soldiers one time that when he went in one of the buildings in the previous wars, there was like a booby trap thing, and then the whole building collapsed. It was actually a miracle that he stayed alive. He says every time he hears a noise in his mind, he remembers that explosion. It's very, very, sad. So I'm going to ask you, please do come if you can next week, and then after we have the class, they're going to have that place from 7 to 10 o'clock at night. So hopefully we're going to go there around a quarter to 9, maybe make the class shorter. Just thank them
On
for
Monday?
next Monday, yeah, for all the great things that they have done for our brothers and sisters, for us, by protecting us. That's number one. Number two, please, guys, Shavouot, which is on a Wednesday. Make sure wherever you live, go to the synagogue and hear the Ten Commandments. Very, very important. There is a medrash that says when the Jews gather in the synagogue and they hear the Ten Commandments, God considers it as if they stood on Mount Sinai, visualizing the greatness of God and hearing the Ten Commandments from Him. I mean, you guys don't have any children, but you might have little brothers and sisters, little cousins, even newborns, newly born, whatever. Sorry, forgive my English. They bring them to the synagogue to hear the Ten Commandments. Not this kid who's in the crate, no, in the, what do you call it? Stroller. He has no idea what is being said. But it says actually all the souls were under Mount Sinai, hearing the Ten Commandments. Even little kids that were born were there. And because this resembles the receiving of the Torah, the custom is every kid is brought. And the good part is our bodies will enjoy it too, because Shavuot without cheesecake is not Shavuot. Every synagogue gives cheesecake, they give dairy. If you guys want to come here, please, on Wednesday around 11:40, 11:30, we finish praying. There's lots of ice cream, lots of cheesecake, lots of whatever, I don't know, yogurt, whatever you like. Yes. What was the question?
So it's not tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, we stay up the whole night.
So what time do I tell people to come?
You want to stay up or you want to come for 10 Commandments?
Well, if I'm staying up, what is it, just a lecture?
There's going to be lectures on food.
And then the commandments are
Oh, so if you're going to stay up the whole night, it's better for you to pray at 4 o'clock and just go to sleep at 6:30 instead of going to bed and coming back at night. But if you're not going to stay up, then it's better to come 9 in the morning. So you have the choice. They're both good. 9 a.m.
Here?
On the other side. Here, I don't know if there's going to be a minyan. If there is, they start at 9:45.
The bigger side?
Because everybody's going to Palm Springs, India or Palm Springs.
What about the lecture?
The lecture is at 11:45.
On Wednesday night.
Tuesday night. And you stay up all the way till the morning.
So lecture, cheesecake, or like the dairy thing is tomorrow, not Wednesday.
No, Wednesday there is also dairy.
Oh, so it's 2 days.
Yeah. Wednesday and Thursday, no tefillah. Tomorrow and Friday, there is tefillah. Okay, any other questions, guys?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
This is off topic, but
No
you know
problem.
how we're not supposed to try to say God's name.
Okay.
Are we allowed to try to draw him or depict him in any way? The painting Michelangelo made, the creation of Adam, where he depicted God.
Well, honestly, God has no image that you
Yeah.
can make.
But what we would assume, of
Well, I wouldn't suggest it because God has no image at all. Is it a sin? I don't think so. I don't know, but there's no image. Any other question?
Can I get it's not 11:45. Well, not at 7:45. Can I teach something at 11?
You wanna?
Yeah.
I don't have it in my teleport. I don't have it in my thing that I sent.
I'll just select people to come.
Okay, so please do, no problem. It's awesome.
I'll be there 10. Sorry. Start with hookah, and then cheesecake, and then
sushi?
like,
Well, if you bring hookah, you cannot extinguish the coals. You could turn them on, but you can't extinguish them.
Just let them.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can't like put it under your feet and break them and extinguish them. Okay.
They extinguish them.
Or is gonna smoke so much it's gonna have to refill it 4 times anyway.
Okay.
It's not the beauty cold.
No problem, guys. Anyway, so let's have, guys, forgive me because this time I just bought pizza and there's French fries. If you can do me a favor, we're going to carry everything to the other side because I only have plates and drinks on the other side, not here.
No problem.
And please do not forget next week.